this morning my boyfriend has a good idea talking about whether we should buy some Royal Mint gold from Royal Mint, and that I think that is very very brave and very very I think it's very promising. How can I say it? It's a very brave, out-breaking development for himself. My boyfriend is really, really very good at thinking and take actions. I have been told to buy gold 3 years ago. They saying that the gold will increase value a lot. If I listen to them and listen to people at that time, I might get increased money right now. And but I didn't know where to buy gold, and even maybe at that time I don't have money to buy gold at all, and I don't have money to buy gold either. So when my boyfriend talking about buying gold, we don't have money to buy gold at all. But I think it's really really brave thinking, and I don't want to discourage him because we don't have money. But I think it is something that we should open-hearted, open our mind to think things, open our mind to, and when my boyfriend said about gold, the first thing coming into my mind is Warren Buffett talked about what Warren Buffett talked about gold. So I don't want to discourage my boyfriend. I just said to him that since we so admire Warren Buffett so much, why not have you heard about Warren Buffett's opinion about gold? Then my boyfriend quickly typed Warren Buffett opinion on gold on Google, and then it said so it shows very clearly that Warren Buffett is not don't like gold, and what I read is about in the past they said that Warren Buffett said gold is useless. It has very 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 little utility value, and when you buy gold, you only get when you buy gold, you only get by fear, and don't increase much as well. And so I think so I and then after my boyfriend saw that, then he kind of saying that Warren Buffett is right on many things, but is not right all the time. Maybe he's wrong at present because gold has increased the value a lot in the past 3 years, about 60% in the first 3. Okay, wow, thank you. So Warren Buffett is the first. So maybe it's wrong in gold in this aspect, and so my boyfriend said that maybe he's wrong in this aspect. So so in this video, I and this inspired me to think deeper about why gold increased a lot this year. That is out of Warren Buffett's expectation. So and then I have some ideas on it, and then I want to share and want to talk deeper about it. And I think we can divide people 3 kind of people in the world. That is people. One kind of people is people who love gold, and this is Asian people, mostly Asian people, and people who love gold. This is one, and the other people is the people who don't love gold. That is like Warren Buffett. The other one is the spectators. Spectators don't love gold or hate gold, but if they see the gold prices rise, they would like to buy it. So first thing is the people who love gold, and this is what I want to talk about the most. I think this is mostly Asian people. Asian people love gold a lot, and I have just watched the figure about gold value increase from 1986. From 1968 to 2014, it is like this. From 1986, then 1980, and then grow a lot after 1980. So I think the reason why the gold increased the value a lot after 1980 is because the Asian people, those people, Asian people becomes much richer after 1980. As we all know, that is after 1980, around that time is globalization, is international trade. So many company manufacturing jobs was manufacturing companies was migrated, was moved from the Western countries to the Asian countries. So so the first is I don't know the sequence, right? But I just know the Singapore become rich by manufacturing good for the Western world. Singapore, Taiwan, Japanese. First is Japanese, Japan, Singapore, Taiwan, even South Korean, and then last is China. They all become rich by manufacturing goods for the Western people. So because these countries, they are poor, they are relatively poor countries, and then at that time, and then they have cheap labors. So that is a difference of labor's price. So makes the difference. Believe in yourself. Oh, thank you. And so this is talking about, so that explains why the Asian the gold price increases from 1980s and till now is still growing very a lot. 2024, it is because the Asian people love gold. That is lies in their genes. Like China, what I know is Chinese love gold a lot, especially the Chinese Dama that is very famous 10 years ago, right? The Chinese Dama fight with the Wall Street bankers investment. The Chinese Dama buy a lot of gold because they love gold a lot. They would in Chinese wedding, you have to give the woman 4 gold is gold ring, gold bracelet, and a gold necklace, and another gold I forget is 4 gold to give the woman as a gift as a wedding gift is from the man's family give to the woman's family. And also in and they also like to Chinese also like to store gold in many movies. Like if it is in war, then Chinese can use their gold to buy their way out, to flee. And China is not alone. After I come to UK, I realized that Chinese maybe is not the most is the most fancy about gold people, because I see Indian is more serious about gold. I know a Indian girl. She showed me her wedding pictures. So many gold on the head, very big, and gold very thick gold on the necklace, and gold everything is very much better, much heavier gold than the Chinese are. And I don't think she is so rich, so top Indian rich family, because she even can't afford the life expenses last I think 2 years ago at April, just because her husband in April have a very huge amount of tax, so her husband can't send much money for her allowance. So even she borrowed a milk from me, she can't afford a milk, so I just give her the milk. I don't want her to pay me back about the milk. So I think that she is not that rich, but she used heavily on the gold for her wedding. Then she said that it is a showment of is a testament of how wealthy your family are, especially the woman's family are, when in the wedding, that you can afford so many gold in the wedding. And so even the Indian not rich people, not so rich people can would buy so heavily gold, let alone the more rich, much richer people in India. So I just think that things like Indian and and the Chinese love gold so much, and that is lies in their culture, in their genes. Once these people they become richer, they would invest heavily on buying gold. This will push up the price of gold. So that is comes to the title of this video, talking about what Warren Buffett don't know about gold. Yes, Warren Buffett get a lot of money from the everyday food and drinks stocks in the Western world, like Coca-Cola and McDonald's, and he focused on things that is useful to make products, consumer goods, and then he thinks that gold is not useful, but he didn't know that gold has one very important, very important effect is that you can very important function is to show off, I think its function is to show off. The other is in their cultures. So it seems like the cultures of Indian and China is to show off. This is quite funny, right? If you talk to an Indian that, oh, I know. Oh, do you know about Indian culture or Chinese culture? I know that is to show off. That they in their gene, in their culture, to show off, to buy so many gold to show off their wealth. So Warren Buffett don't understand that in their spirit of this Indian and Chinese, in their spirit, or the strongest spirit, because I think Asian people live very miserably. They always get pressurized in their living conditions, always get pressurized, so high in pressure in their everyday life. So they always thinking about in their life, once in our lifetime I become rich, I would make every people admire me. Then they would, so they have every Chinese or every Indian have a very strong intention to show off, to one day to show off them. So they will work very hard to make money, and they get the money. What they want to do is to buy things to show off. So that is explains, and what is the only thing that you can, that is the best thing to show off is gold, right? If you buy Chanel or you Chanel thing, then the clothes may be well off after 10 years. Then the clothes might be outdated and not so wealthy anymore. But if you buy gold, you can last forever. You can show off for years, for decades, or even for generations. And if you buy a watch, maybe other people don't know about the watch. That is Rolex. Maybe they don't know about it. But the gold, every people know it, and all their relatives, their friends know that you own so many gold. Then they will quite admire you. So they always want to show off. First is because Asian people always lives in very hard situation, always getting their dignity always being compressed and pressurized. So they in their mind, their spirit always in the, like a spring, always in the pressed condition. So they always want to spring out. What they want to spring out to? When they want to spring out, they only, because they are very low. When they spring out too, they would only know is to buy gold. So this is what is the question? And then the other type of the people that just I talked to three kind of people. First kind of is the Asian people who likes gold. Once if they poor, they can't buy gold. Once they get a little bit chance, get a little bit richer, they will buy gold. And the second one is people like Warren Buffett who invest, who looks back on the consumer, everyday life consumer things in the Western culture, because in the Western culture they consumes a lot everyday life. And the third one is the spectators. The spectators will see the gold prices rise. They would buy more gold to further push up the price. If the spectators see the gold prices go down, they would drop down to make what the spectators do is not the leading thing, is just make things getting more drastic. So going back to talking about those people who love gold and who love gold. So I think what I want to say is that Warren Buffett and the Asian people, PK, Warren Buffett stands for the Western people, who Western working class people, where they buy Coca-Cola things. So the question is the answer to my boyfriend's question whether we should buy gold now. And so just think about a very simple thing. Just think about these two people who will become richer. Who will become richer in the next 20 years? Do you think these Asian people will become richer in the next 20 years? Or do you think the Western people will become richer in the 20 years? Then this answer, then that answer would be obviously. If this answer is obvious, then the gold price answer would be obvious. So that becomes the harder part. So do you think in the next 20 years, Asian people will become richer? Or do you think in the next 20 years, the Western people would become richer? The Western people become richer. So, and then I asked my boyfriend to Google whether to expectation, or will Asian people become richer in the next 20 years. The Google said that they would become, they said yes, because the Asian has a very cheap labors, and but they also have some problems such as aging, like Chinese they become aging before they become rich. And also talking and take away from China. And talk about China. I don't think that talk about China that the Donald Trump is going against China to and China's economy is very bad now. Many people can't find a job. But take away China would become poorer. That every people knows that. But although the China would become poor because Trump go against it. But these things you also need to be manufactured. iPhone manufacturing and clothes and shoes manufacturing. They still need the manufacturing. That's a manufacturing goal. The manufacturing companies go. They moved out of China. Yes, that's true. China will become poorer. But where they go, they don't go back to American. They don't go back to Western, because you can't imagine that an American worker would work on the assembly line. But this manufacturing, this cheap labor manufacturing will go. This cheap manufacturing will go to even other Asian countries like Vietnam, very Cambodian, and Indian, and Indian. I don't know. I think it's not Pakistan. Nigeria. I don't think Nigeria or other Mumbai. Just the other Asian countries, and then all these Asian countries, they like gold as well, like Thailand. If they go to Thailand, they like gold as well. I think I have seen in the movie that Thailand in their because Thailand is a Buddhism country. If they have money, they would buy a lot of gold to make the Buddhism a gold Buddhism. So it is so China will go down, but this manufacturing will go to other Asian countries. So this so things like however, the people so many people Chinese people become richer during these years of manufacturing, but this lower class people, they become slaves, and the upper class people get so much money, and this money, they use this money buy a lot of gold, and the lower, even though if the manufacturing still stays in China, nothing would happen to the lower class people. They are just a slave. They still, or if they even, let alone they work all their lives to cheap labor manufacturing, they still can't afford gold. So it is goes to another one. So the gold manufacturing is the gold rush, not the gold rush, the craving for gold, the gold consumption in China. Consumption in China is getting stabilized because the Chinese Communist Party don't want people to get rich. So those people who can afford gold has already buy gold, and those people Chinese who can't afford gold will never go buy gold. Now this now this money goes to other Asian countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, and another country, Indian, and these people, there are still many poor people there, and many people, and then during this process, many people would become rich in these countries, and when these people become rich, however they are, the evil, whether they are evil or good, they would become, what will they do? They will use this money to buy gold. They wouldn't understand. Maybe they will buy some liquors, some Rolex or some Chanel. But I think the young people might be buy these things, fancy things. But I think their families, their older people would tell them to buy gold. So this is their traditional thing that lies in their genes. So it means that in the next 20 years, the manufacturing moved from China to other Asian countries, and these Asian countries, they are in right now they are quite poor, but they will become rich. They will become richer, and then during the become richer, then a very highly percentage of these people will become can afford gold, so they will buy gold. So they will push up the gold price in the next 20 years, I think. So that is what I think. So that is what I want to say, that Warren Buffett said that gold, don't invest in gold. So I think that maybe in the next 20 years, the gold prices would still grow, just because these poorer Asian countries, they would become richer, and then when they become richer, they would buy more gold, and this would push up the gold prices. And I also want to say that gold is the most majority function of gold is to show off, and so gold will only thrive in the countries that is very, very unequal, like India, like China, like Indian. I think Indian, there are Indian poor people are so very, very poor, and Indian rich people are very, very rich. So they're too much high Gini index of the country. So the people who are too low, too high. So people in the between, they want to make all their effort to stay away from the bottom and get closer to the upper. So they would try very hard to buy gold, to show off, to get more connections and get more admiration and get them feeling better in their psychology. And but maybe that explains why that gold is not so popular in Japan, because Japan is quite quite every people is rich. So every people is normally rich. So just rich as well. So they don't need to show off. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I have watched some movies talking about some Japanese woman. Some Japanese women who graduate, who grown up in a country, and then when they go to Tokyo, they have to go to the to become a prostitute for this old man. But they still can talk with the very super rich woman, and but the super rich women are also lead a very uncomfortable life as well. So I think although the Japanese is quite I think the Japanese is quite some people can be very rich and some very poor, and maybe all her life will be poor, but some people can be rich and very rich, and they don't need to work and still have a lot of money, but it's not so extreme such as in India and in China. And still the lower bar of Japanese is much higher. The lower bar they can be poor. The poorest people in Japan is still very well off. They can live very comfortable life. They can afford food and don't go too low that they have their dignity was sacrificed. Not that like so that like so the even the poor people they're not so extreme. Do not like your heart is not so pressurized that you have been tortured so much like Japan, like India and Chinese. So they have always want to bounce back by buying gold, but Japanese seems like a little bit of pressure, but not that much. So they don't have that craving to buy gold to show off themselves, and maybe they also, he's talking about China is getting cracked by being a communist country of manufacturing, but there are many other Asian countries which are not a communist country, but they love gold very much, and they would once they become once many people hate communism, and they would like their manufacturing don't buy product made in these communist countries, but these countries, although they are not communist country, but they are Asian countries, they are traditional Asian countries, then they have craving for gold. So I think there are plenty of chances of these countries become get these manufacturing companies thrived and then get bought by American for their products, and then they will become richer and then will push up the golden prices. And also, I think I think it's from a subjective way to talking about the why things like Indian people have more craving for gold than Chinese. Maybe it's because Indian people, some people, if they have so dark skin, and it can be honestly speaking, if they dark skin looks quite dark, right? Not so shining. So if they can wear a lot of gold, it makes them more shining, like shingles on their skin. So maybe the gold not only show off, but also show off their wealth, their treasury, but also will lighten up their skin. So the dark color, the people would prefer gold for decoration, and also for black people, maybe I think African people also likes gold if they can once they can afford it. And yeah, and also they about whether Asian will be getting richer. If you just see one or two countries, every people see China will become poorer. But other Asian countries who loves gold will become richer, and also some people say that China would have rising rising middle class. So this middle class would become richer, and they will buy gold because that like this middle class in these traditional Asian countries, although they become richer, getting better, but their mind is still like a reptile, although they become advanced in their modern life, but their brain is still reptile, so it makes them still buy gold. So and middle class rising, and then and also another thing is talking about they're talking about this people who those in the Asian countries when these people become richer, and they tend to have more chance to migrate to the Western countries, and because maybe the Western countries they can be have more freedom, and they can because maybe they get richer, they would open their eyes and open their minds, and then they would think think for their offsprings, think for their offsprings, they think that maybe they should migrate to the Western countries. So when these gold-loving Asian people migrate to Western countries, whatever visa whatever migrant policies they use to get to the Western countries, what they will do, they will push up the real estate prices, and these Asian people is mostly what I don't think what I know about the Chinese and the Taiwanese, those people who work very hard day and night, work long hours, and being thrift on spending, and save all money and then to buy buy on property, and then on children's education. So if these Asian countries become richer, and some of the rich Asian people maybe top or middle class, then will migrate to the Western countries. When they migrate to the Western countries, they would still keep their own way of doing things, like a lot of Chinese restaurant, and do a lot of part-time jobs to make money, and then save all money to buy properties. And if there's a lot of them, they will push up the properties of the Western world. So that comes to what my boyfriend talking about. Do you still think it is a good idea to invest in property, real estate in UK? I think just think one question: will more Asian people come to UK? If more Asian people come to UK, definitely the real estate price will go higher. So I think in the past maybe it's because many Asian students come to UK for studying, so push up the price for the renting of student accommodations. But if after the time goes by, when they go here to immigrant and then stay after studentship, and then they will push up the real estate. So just the Asian countries, they will push up the real estate prices. So just ask two things, but it is a very good thing that there is a council tax in UK that makes you to get to keep the property is very expensive, even if you rent it or just use it, and then it would. So that is a very good policy to have council tax. And so I think China is beaten by Trump, and the Communist Party is being hated, and other Asian countries are not communism, but they love gold as well. And then talk back to the people who don't love gold is Warren Buffett. What Warren Buffett for while he is against Coca-Cola, while he is against the gold, he is for Coca-Cola, McDonald's, this food and drink of Western countries. He is not for the high technology of artificial intelligence. I think he don't understand it himself. he don't understand it. So things like Warren Buffett is go against the everyday consumption. It's also very simple things. It's not everyday consumption, everyday product, and useful materials, and not for the high technology. But let's see what is the change of the future in the next 20 years. Then ask any people this question: what do you think of the change of the world in the next 20 years? I think I would say several things, 3 things, 4 things maybe. First, more wars, right? There are so many wars these years. Wars about Ukraine war is because of the Putin. His mindset lives in the big country fantasy. So it's the Ukraine war is a war between a modern world against with the big country fantasy of the Putin. Putin is a I think Putin is a dinosaur lived in the big country fantasy. I just as my boyfriend said that Putin don't understand that he take an example of one country is quite well off. It is quite well off on himself, but when I think it's Alexander the Great. Rome is very strong himself, but when Rome conquered a lot of countries, it becomes weaker and the people gets worse when he conquered many countries. It's not getting better at all. And also about Kazakhstan, who have conquered a lot, much larger than China, and he don't need to conquer so big to. It is just a childhood. It's like a children's dream that I can become so big. It's not that you get big. I have conquered so big things. Then that is so satisfied, so proud of himself. It's like a child's dream. It's a children's dream. But I think for an adult, for an immature person, you become so big. What you get, you get people get more miserable lives. So it's like Putin is such a dinosaur living in the past, living in the big Russian, big country dream that he want to swallow Ukraine and make Russia bigger. So stupid. So this is the Ukraine war is the Russian this Russian man. Putin is a dinosaur man, and the other war is the Muslims country with the Israel country. Is a racism mindset. This two side dream wars between them, and the Hamas killed so many innocent Israeli just because they are Jew, and this is also a dinosaur. This is Putin dinosaur, and this is Muslim dinosaur. And then the third is racial, and another war is the racial war. Like there are so many against the immigration in the Western countries, against the Muslim, against this also, yeah, so many wars. Like this is 3 trends of so many wars. Yeah, this is the first trend that I saw talk about so many wars, and the second trend is very people will talk about is AI, artificial intelligence. Will they give us more jobs, more opportunities, or will make us less jobs, and many people will become wasted creatures, and they shouldn't be living at all on the earth, like that woman who's a good man, who said that he said that all the problem is because too many people in the world. That good man who he discovered that a monkey can use tools. That good man woman, he said that, and this is AI. This is more war and AI and AI, artificial intelligence, and other and more like wars is more about drones. The wars are changing. It's more about drones, about very targeted wars. Like Ukraine war, they use drones. Like Israel, they use Israel, they use a very accurate targeted bombing, and so it is more accurate fighting. And then the fourth trend. What is the fourth trend? Is still fourth trend is there are more people go on strike, more people, and but still they want more salaries, although they work very little hours, but still get involved go on strike, and then things like if they go on more strike, then there will be more outsourcing to the poorer countries, right? It don't make getting more less and to make the government or make the companies to be more intact by the strikes, then they would just prefer to just never hire these people, and they would have no chance to strike at all. So they may make more jobs, just make out very far away, not outsourcing to the poorer countries, and anything that can be, they will try to make it outsourced or made by automatic or made by robots. This is a trend. So talking about gold, and are we still need so many manufacturing in the future? We need food and product every day, so they still need this manufacturing. So if this manufacturing all goes to Asian and never comes to Western world, so I think the gold will increase value. Definitely, because the Asian people, once they have money, they worked so hard like a slave. Once they have money, they will invest in gold. And also what Asian people would do when they have money, they would buy gold, buy real estate, and invest heavily on children's education. This is the three things that Asian people would do. And I asked my boyfriend what Western people would do if they have money, such as a family when after 3 years they have saved 10,000 pounds, so many 100,000 to 10,000 pounds. What they would do? They would use this money to. I don't know. I think the only thing, and also they Western and I also what they would do to travel. Yeah, that is what my boyfriend would do. He would travel to America. That is spend on traveling, and then I don't know whatever to do, and go to and change to a better and buy a car, and then buy a car, and then to shop in a better supermarket, like now we shop at Morrison. They would like to shop in the M&S food. And that is Western people would do. And it's also talking about what Western people would need for gold. I think is they would need gold to buy for wedding ring, and also many gold plated things. But I don't need gold plated things, right? We don't need many things you can be replaced. We don't so much need in gold plated things. We can live without it. And I think that golden to white people maybe it looks too fancy, too gaudy, right? A little gaudy. But I also heard about a story about 2 months ago. It's about a news about there is a real gold toilet seat that is in the government place, and then someone stole it. It happens in UK, and they haven't discovered that thief. So it seems like someone likes gold in UK as well. And yeah, that is what I wanted to say for about gold and the trend about gold price. I thinking about it is just to ask about whether gold prices will increase or not. Just ask those people who love gold in their dreams, in their instinct. Will they become richer in the next 20 years? Will they become richer, or will they become poorer? Yeah, I think they would become richer. Even and as a human society is is progressing, getting upwards, getting better and better. And then, such as now, maybe some people, maybe a million people lives in poverty. Maybe 20 years later, only half a million people lives in a million people was living in starvation. Maybe 10 years later, only half a million people lives in starvation. Then this half million, the other half million people who used to live in starvation, that when they get better and they are stupid, what they want to do, their first thing they would save money to get a bread, get money is not to buy more bread, is to buy gold, right? So and also my boyfriend made a very good point talking about China is a so poor country, and but China invested so heavily on high-speed trains. So it's like a person who barely have a little bit money to buy bread, and they don't buy bread, and then they just buy luxury goods. Do you think? So by luxury, by not buy bread, they should use the money to buy the bread to feed everyday life, but they instead to buy the useless fancy things. That is human nature, right? So I think I have discovered two things that Warren Buffett didn't know. One is that Asian people become the reason why gold prices increase is because Asian people those people who loves gold, they become richer and they will buy gold. The other thing is about human nature. Human nature. They live in better situation. Once they getting a little bit better off, they did not to just buy more food or buy more for everyday normal life consumption. They just like a revengeful consumption on the things that they don't need at all. That is human nature. What that human nature is? I think is for the humans revenge on reasonable part, and it's because all their psychology things. Yeah, I think in the future more people with psychology problems will become more and more. Okay, that's what I want to say. Thank you. Bye.